Yep, I'm ready.
Me too.
You're listening to the Station 71 podcast. My name is Mario, and this week I'm joined by my co hosts.
Beth?
And Brian.
So, this week we're going to be doing a fun game that we've got planned. We've got a lot of listener correspondence to go over, some news, and Beth has a trip report for us. So, this is a very filled episode. So, let's dive right into that. First news topic we got this week is that Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor received a new sign over the week. It's a new retro and 70s inspired sign. It looks like Tomorrowland might be starting to head back to that retro futurism theme that we all love.
Yes, very excited about this. I'm hoping that they start unveiling the other signs for the other attractions in the upcoming weeks, months, however long it takes. But definitely excited about getting back to retro future world.
Yeah, for sure. I'm glad also to see that they have a new sign out for it because that gives me the impression that it's not going anywhere for a while. So
I'm just happy that something in Tomorrowland is getting some kind of love.
true.
After that, we have a new personal shopper experience coming to Disney's Hollywood Studios. Um, so it looks like who put this in there? Because I didn't actually read it all the way
I
through.
put it in there. So apparently, what it is you show they're unveiling this at Hollywood Studios only to start with. But basically, when you first walk into the park, there's going to be like this concierge type thing set up for you to go to, and it's essentially somebody that will go shop for you. You tell them what they want, and they'll go buy merchandise, clothing, whatever it is, and have it ready for you to go when you leave the park. I don't really get the point of this, but hey, here it is.
Yeah, I mean, like, I guess I could maybe see making use of this if you have a bunch of stuff in mind that you like know that you want to get already. Because then, I guess it would be nice. I get more so in a different park. Like, I don't really see the point in Hollywood Studios, although I understand they're probably starting it there because it's, one of the smaller parks. But I guess I would understand more at, like, I don't know, Magic Kingdom. You want to go get this souvenir from here, or this from there, especially like during the special events where there's, certain merchandise in certain places. But I really generally feel like the souvenirs are almost the same everywhere except for like Epcot.
Well, it's funny you mentioned the special events because that's the one time that I would really want to take advantage of this, but I highly doubt they would do this for special events.
Mm-hmm. Because everyone probably would try to take advantage of it.
Right.
What I see this being, and it's kind of to me, it feels like this is like their slow rollout, like they're testing this out now. But I feel like it's going to be one of those experiences like you have where you order something on the app online and then you pick it up at that location, kind of thing. I see them rolling in that direction in the future.
Yeah, I would like that, I guess, more so being able to look at like the Shop Parks app and pick it up in the store, but I don't know. This seems just kind of like a bougie, unnecessary thing right now.
For sure.
Yeah. So our third and final news story is that Epcot International Festival of the Arts workshops are now available for reservation. Um, Very exciting. I know we all love the Festival of the Arts, so more
Mm-hmm.
Festival of the Arts news. Yay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was just thinking about how I was like, I just went to Disney World like last week and I probably shouldn't go again until Memorial Day. But then I was like, but then I'll miss the Festival of the Arts. I'll
Mm-hmm.
probably end up going in February.
Yeah, I really love Festival of the Arts. I'm excited to see what it kind of grows into, because I feel like 2 years ago Disney was unveiling it as more of a placeholder for when the other Epcot festivals weren't running, but I really enjoy it. So I'm hoping it grows to be at least as big as Flower and Garden.
Yeah, it's definitely become probably my second favorite, if not favorite, of the festivals.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree. I want to see this one grow at least another month or two, another month on there, just so it gets a little bit bigger, and then maybe we cut back on some of the food and wine.
Yeah, that I would be all for that too.
Yeah. It's just like, I don't know, I know we've talked about it on the show before, but I think that it's a different caliber because they're actually working a lot on not just the quality of the food, but the presentation of it is way more, I guess, focused on during this than any of the other festivals, I think, which I think is a really cool aspect. Plus, it's just so much more interactive, in my opinion.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's another huge part of it is you have a lot of the interactive experiences that are, I feel like, a little more in depth than the ones that they would have at, Food and Wine or Flower and Garden and all them.
Mm-hmm. I guess to go a little further in depth for anyone interested in these workshops, it's an hour and 15 minutes. They take place in the Odyssey Festival Friday through Monday, and it's $40 plus tax to reserve a spot for it, which I don't think is a very bad deal. I think this would be a pretty interesting thing to do.
Yeah, it's not a bad deal at all.
Now, I'm trying to find where is the list of what they're offering.
I had issues finding it too. I don't know if they've released the specific. Well, I guess they should have if they're taking reservations.
Oh wait, I just found it.
I'm gonna tell you that at the bottom of the article it says call 407 WDW Tour to book. For more information on workshops, visit artfulepcot.com.
Well, I clicked that.
And it takes you to the Epcot website.
Yeah, I was just like, what is this? Okay, but I did just find it, so I'm putting the link in right underneath the other link.
Oh, so you have to go to like a weird, this is interesting.
Yeah, I found it. If you're on like the Epcot page for Festival of the Arts, there's like the little section that says like seminars, and it says click here for like more offerings or all the offerings, whatever.
For our listeners, there is a PDF that this link brings you to.
Eventually, if you click the right stuff.
Eventually, you get a link to a PDF. There are tons of seminars on this list. Ooh.
Oh man, this one about the animatronics. Oh man, I want to do that.
Saturday, January 26th at 11 a.m. The music of John Williams and Hans Zimmer. I am trying so hard to not book a trip right now.
Man.
And if you stay the next day, you can do watermelon carving.
That sounds cool.
It does actually sound kind of cool.
So I guess also this article that we pulled this from too isn't very accurate because it looks like they're offering these things not only Friday through Monday. Looks like they're pretty much almost every day of the week. So
yeah,
I'm gonna throw this in the show notes and we'll post it on our website. That way our listeners can find it maybe a little easier.
Yes.
So if you're listening to this, if you go to station71podcast.com, you can find the link to this PDF so you don't have to dig through Disney's website to find it. So all that said, do we want to do let's do our trip report from Beth, because there's a lot of stuff that I'm really excited to hear about here.
Yeah, so I went on kind of a brief trip, I guess. We went down last Friday, the 7th of December, and then we came back on very, very late. Technically, Wednesday morning. It was literally like 2 a.m., which sucked. But it was all worth it because the reason we left so late was because on our very last day, it was... So I guess I'll start from the beginning. We only spent 2 days in the parks, which is fine. We did the Christmas party on Sunday, and then we went to Epcot on Monday. And it was like bitter cold, which I know Mario's probably laughing because he lives in New Jersey, but for my southern blood, it was in like the very low 50s. And
I can
That's
confirm there was
cold.
a cold snap that came through.
It's 39 degrees right now.
But keep in mind that no one was prepared for it in Orlando. So I was in like literally a pair of jean shorts and a Spirit jersey, and I was freezing. Like it was miserable almost, and we didn't have like a terrible time, but it definitely wasn't a good ending to the trip, and I wasn't satisfied with leaving like that, because we went to Epcot for like, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours, and we ended up leaving because we were just like, it's too cold and we're not having a good time. So I didn't get to experience as much of the like festival of the holidays as I wanted to. So I decided that I was not going to let this be the end of our trip. So the day that we were leaving, we went to Disney Springs and had lunch at Maria and Enzo's, which was actually pretty delicious. Annual pass holders 40% off for lunch period until the end of December, I believe. Just as a
Dang.
little tip there. So it was still kind of expensive, but we got a pitcher of sangria, so that kind of upped the price. And then afterwards decided that we were going to go to the Void and do Ralph Breaks VR.
So before you dive into that, I have a question. Was this a spur of the moment kind of thing, or did you know you were going to do this before you went?
The VR?
Yes.
No, I had an idea. Like I have been wanting to do it since it came out, but and I honestly I kind of wanted it. I'm not a big Star Wars fan, but I kind of wanted to do that one anyway because the idea of VR is really cool to me. So then when they announced the Wreck-It Ralph one, I was like, well, I definitely want to do that. So it was more of a if we have time kind of thing. We were going to do it, but we didn't really make time for it. And so like I said, we ended up staying in Orlando way later than we intended to because we ended up doing this. But like I said, totally worth it.
I was curious because I know you can order the tickets in advance.
Mm-hmm.
You can actually book if anyone's on the fence about this and you want to book your stuff in advance. You can buy the tickets online in advance, or you can buy them there. But on the website for the Void, it says that you might have a better time booking online. Now I know that that's a thing that everyone always says.
Mm-hmm.
I was just curious to see how your experience was with buying them there, and if you had any trouble like getting a time slot, or was it just like you got there and went right in?
Yeah, well, so we went in and there was a lot more wait for the Star Wars one, which even then wasn't that bad because it was like, I don't know, 4:00 on a Tuesday afternoon. So not really
perfect time.
Yeah, it wasn't really hot peak time for Disney Springs. So I think that worked a lot in our favor. But we were the only ones when we walked in. We are like, hey, we want to do Ralph Breaks VR. And they're like, okay, do you have any questions? You just want to jump into it? And I was like, let's jump into it. And they're like, okay, cool. And they had us fill out like the waiver, and you got to pick a character. It was like these little, almost like a trading card style cards. There was 3 male characters and 3 female characters, and you picked one, and that's what your like avatar in the VR would become. And we waited for, I don't know, maybe like half an hour or so that after we got done, that we kind of sat there and waited. But I think the thing about it is that there's only a certain number of rooms, and probably a lot of the people that were coming in for the Star Wars thing had booked in advance, so we kind of they had to work us in. But it still wasn't, half an hour is not too bad of a wait.
That's like your standard waiting for dinner wait.
Yeah, so it wasn't bad at all. And actually was kind of surprised that for the quality of the experience, it was like $35 a person, including tax. So from start to finish, I think you're like actually in the VR world, for lack of a better term, for like 30 minutes or so, which I don't know. I thought it was well worth it because of how incredible it was. So anyway, I'll try to make it as spoiler free as possible because I don't want to, if anybody's considering it, I don't want you to get it ruined by any surprises or anything. But yeah, so we got taken back into this blank room with just a bunch of vests and headsets hanging up. The guy like helped us get our stuff on, and then we walked into this other extremely blank room that was just literally a box with gray walls, and that's it. And we're just like, okay. And so he's like, all right, cool. So you guys go ahead and put your little visors down. We did, and me and my boyfriend looked at each other and we're just like, what? Like we and the guy said before we like put our visors down, he's like, just so you know, I'm gonna be in the like with you during the whole thing. I'm not gonna interact at all. I'm just here for safety reasons, basically. And he didn't say this, but to make sure you're not like destroying stuff, I'm sure. But
I bet it's
I
pretty
was
hilarious from his
I
perspective.
literally afterwards was thinking how funny that must be to just watch people looking as stupid as we did, because we just were like touching each other's arms and faces and stuff. Like it was like it was surreal. So but yeah, so you know the premise of it is you're just like going into the internet. Like if you guys have seen Ralph Breaks the Internet, it's that environment that you go into, and it's absolutely incredible. Everything that you're looking at, you can actually touch in real life. There's different textures, there's like scent effects, and your vest, like when something hits you, it'll vibrate. And you go on this little, like I said, half-hour adventure through that universe with Ralph and Vanellope. And I just, I can't say much more than that without spoiling anything, but I would extremely highly recommend it. It was very cool. And honestly, my boyfriend, after we were done, was like, I'd been kind of on the fence about getting like a VR console, like the PlayStation VR. And he's like, I totally want one now, like after this. Like,
VR is such a weird thing. Like I tried one in Best Buy once, and I was so on the fence before I did it, and I was like, okay, this seems like something I would probably use as like a novelty thing, but it'd still be so cool to have.
yeah, and like honestly, it has made me crave it. Like I would 100%. Like I said, I'm not even a Star Wars fan really, but I want to go back and do the Star Wars one just to do it again. And my only problem with like, because he doesn't listen to every episode, but I'm gonna end up getting us a system for Christmas, a PlayStation VR. My only problem was that I was just like, well, at Disney Springs, you're like in a box, and they design it to where any idiot can go in there and not mess things up and not get hurt. And I'm like, I'm going to be knocking stuff all over my house, off my shelves. I'm going to have to lock my cats into a room so I don't step on them. Like, I was like, this is going to be a very interesting experience. But yeah, it was really awesome. And if anybody's on the fence about it, I would say if it's in your budget, absolutely do it.
So
Nice.
I have a couple questions for you. I don't know if Brian's got any questions, but so the suit that they put you in, it's all wireless, right? Like it's connected to like the back part of the suit, if I read that right.
Yeah, so you're not like strapped into anything. The only part, like I said, when you first walk in to like get situated, there's vests that are like hanging up, and like the headset's hanging up, but once you put them on, he like the guy like detaches them and you can walk freely. You're not like attached to anything.
Nice. Now, how heavy is the actual suit? Does it feel like there's a weight on you, or does it just kind of feel more or less natural?
The vest I didn't think was bad at all. It just kind of felt like if you've ever played laser tag, kind of like that kind of vest.
Okay.
The headset was fine. It was, I think, a little bit heavier than I would have liked to have been. It wasn't unbearable by any means, but I mean, I also have neck problems, so that could have attributed to it. But it wasn't bad at all in my opinion. It was just I felt like, I don't know, kind of top heavy, like a bobblehead a little bit. But other than that, it was fine.
Nice.
Sweet.
So yeah, it's a good time.
Man, I really want to do that now. Like,
I know.
Yeah, you should definitely try and make time for it.
we have a whole day blocked out at Disney Springs, and I was like, I know we talked about it before, but I'm thinking about doing it, and I got my girlfriend to do it. Like, I convinced her that if I want to do it, we can do it. So maybe we'll do it.
Nice.
I'll let you know when we go that day, and then we can figure something out, Brian.
Sweet.
Speaking of which, fun little fact about since I'm doing a little trip report here, I think it was like the second day we were there. We were walking around Disney Springs, and there's Brian and his wife, and we're like, "What?" So that was kind of funny.
You spent
Totally
a lot
unplanned.
of time in Disney this week, didn't you, Brian?
What was that?
I said you spent a lot of time in Disney this week, didn't you?
I didn't end up going today. But yeah.
I was gonna say, because you said you usually don't go that often. You were there when Beth was there. You were
Yeah, no, I would say we probably typically average every 2 weeks we go.
Oh, you poor thing.
I know, right? It's rough. I'm not gonna be able to go until after the first of the year now.
Oh no.
That's sad.
You won't be there till next year.
Oh man. I don't know how you do that so far in between.
It's rough.
Go crazy. Not you.
I was gonna say he's definitely not wait that long. See, my problem is that the flights are so expensive.
Yeah.
If
Yeah,
I didn't have to
definitely.
pay, like, we got a really good deal on our flights, and it was like $300 a person, and that's still like a huge chunk of change.
Mm-hmm.
If it wasn't
Yeah.
like that, then I'd be down there as much as I possibly could.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited because just like last month or maybe like 3 weeks ago, I was reading an article on like a Columbia newsletter that I subscribe to in my email, and there is apparently some airline that's going to start offering direct flights from where I live in Columbia, South Carolina to Orlando.
You didn't
And
have direct flights before?
no, oh my gosh, our airport is a joke. Like, if you want to go anywhere, you pretty much, like, if you're flying out of the airport in Columbia, you're pretty much flying to Atlanta or Charlotte and then flying out of there. Like, it's a stupid waste of time. So I'm really excited now. And from what I was reading, it's like they're going to be pretty cheap. Like, I was just looking for funsies, and it was like $180, $150 a person round trip.
That's not bad at all.
So yeah, I was like, man, this is gonna make it really tempting, especially when gas is only like $100. You have to pay $150 per person, but the time is saved is probably gonna end up be worth it.
Now the question is it all depends on who flies out of there, because I know we have an airport that's probably about 30 minutes from me that flies only with Spirit, and they're always super cheap, but I think I've expressed my feelings on Spirit on this show before.
Yeah, I never thought it could be that bad until I flew Spirit once, and it's as bad as people say. Yeah.
And it's like, it's the dumb things, because it's like everything is, you pay for like the bags, you pay for your seats, and then it all adds up to being the price of a regular airport, and their flights are just so small. There's a lot of things that go into it. But then if you drive the extra like 15 minutes to go in the opposite direction, you go to the Philadelphia airport, and everyone flies out of there. And that airport's great, so I'll always fly out of there and just, whatever. But $180 per flight is really good, and I know you're closer too, so that's probably why it's a lot cheaper.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's still going to kind of be hard to justify it when driving is so cheap. But
well, how long is the drive for you?
I mean, it's realistically, like, with stops and stuff, it usually takes us between 7 and 8 hours, and that's like us stopping at gas stations to fill up and get snacks and stretch our legs and stuff. So it's really not like a terrible drive. It's just like it takes up a day of the trip.
Yeah, that's
pretty
not
much.
at all. I mean, you want to talk a whole day? It's a 20-hour drive for me.
Well, I mean, that's legit a day.
So, do you guys want to dive into our game for this week?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
So, I don't know how good I'm going to be, but I'm going to try.
Well, okay. So this was kind of like threw together thing at the end of last week, because we're trying to fit in enough episodes to finish the year out. But we wanted to do a kind of a draft. There's not as much stuff as our other draft, so it may end up not being as draft heavy as that one was. But we're going to design a fantasy cruise ship. Basically, our rules are that we have to pick one attraction, one pool, 2 restaurants, a quick service and a table service, and 1 entertainment element for our cruise ship, and then in the end we have to give the overall theme of our cruise ship as well. Now, I'm gonna say this right now because I know that this is just not a thing that's gonna happen. All of those OSHA rules and safety standards and stuff, they are out the window for this one. But yeah, that said, I'm ready to dive into this thing. How do we want to start this? Do we want to just do like a round order like we usually do? Like I'll start, Beth goes, Brian goes, then Brian goes, then Beth goes, then I go.
That works with me.
Okay,
Sure.
so let's start with the first thing on the list, which is the attraction.
See, this is gonna be really difficult because if somebody else steals my theme, then all of my other things are not gonna make sense.
Yep.
Do we want to give the theme first, or do we want to go down and do the theme last?
We'll see. I think we should do the theme last because maybe we have to like restructure what our theme is depending on what gets taken.
Okay, well, let's try it.
All right, so for my attraction, I picked Pirates of the Caribbean. I'm hoping that no one else.
I think he's doing a pirate theme.
Right.
I am not, kind of.
Okay. So I feel like my attraction is gonna like totally give away my theme. So can I just say that it is a character meet and greet? Or do I have to specify which character?
Your attraction?
I'm curious.
I'm curious too. I don't have a character meet and greet on mine, so I don't think I would take that from you unless Brian does.
No, there's no way I would consider using a meet and greet for an attraction.
See,
more power to you.
My problem is that the theme that I wanted to go with, there's not really an attraction that fits. So I was like, maybe a meet and greet, but I don't know. Maybe, hopefully my other stuff will make up for it.
All right. So are you leaving it as a mystery?
You can leave it.
Yeah, we'll just leave it as a character meet and greet for now.
All right, interesting. Okay, I have probably an off-the-wall one, and I'm bending the rules a little bit here, more than likely, but my attraction is Fantasia Gardens Mini Golf.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Interesting.
So maybe it'll make sense at the end.
All right.
My whole thing is not going to make sense. I can't wait till we get to my entertainment option. So go ahead. You get to pick your next.
Oh, that's right. That's right. All right, let's.
You pick the categories too.
Okay, I like that.
That way you can kind of jump on whatever one you want.
All right, I'm gonna jump on the one that probably isn't gonna get taken. So, or that might get taken. Yeah, I'll say the ones that definitely aren't gonna get taken for the end. I'll do my quick service restaurant, which is Cosmic Rays.
Ooh, I almost picked that for my backup theme.
Oh, okay. I was like, man, if he finds a way to hook Cosmic Rays and pirates together, I'm gonna be impressed.
I was thinking so hard on how to do that, but
I'm very intrigued about your theme.
Who, Brian's or mine?
Yeah, Brian's.
It will all make sense at the end.
I'm kind of wondering too how he tied Fantasia Mini Golf to Sunny Eclipse.
So you shall see.
Your turn, Beth.
All right. Well, for my quick service, I'm gonna say Sasagula Floatworks at French Quarter.
Ooh.
90% because of the atmosphere, not necessarily the food.
That is a really good atmosphere, and that was the hardest part. I think for mine, I picked the quick service restaurant at Coronado Springs just because of the atmosphere as well. It's got like a very marketplace feeling to it. Like a lot of the quick service at the moderate and value resorts have, but I really like the theming and the layout of the one at Coronado Springs. So I guess if we're picking categories too, it would only be fair to let Beth go next.
Oh, I get to pick?
Oh yeah, you would never get to pick the category.
She'd be in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll do you and then I don't know how we want to reverse this.
Well, so she picked the category, but you picked the next one, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I am gonna say entertainment.
Oh boy.
And the one that I'm picking is Mickey's Royal Friendship Fair.
I think I see where you're going.
Yeah.
I think I see where you're going.
And I think I know who your meet and greet is.
Do I go next, I guess?
Yeah, so I guess
Okay.
you go.
So for my entertainment option, and this is why I had to say OSHA violations out the window.
Oh boy.
I picked Indiana Jones Stunt Spectacular.
Oh, man.
Okay.
Oh.
Interesting. I mean, they have like the Broadway style shows on the cruise ships, so I don't see why
Yeah.
that's, not possible.
Fire and airplanes and explosions on a cruise ship.
Yeah. What could go wrong?
So Brian, what's your entertainment option?
This is the one that I was going to save to the end because I figured there'd be no way y'all were going to pick it. I am going with Journey of the Little Mermaid, which I know isn't a very loved entertainment on this podcast, but I enjoy it and I think it fits well with my theme.
What is your theme?
Yeah, I'm wondering where you're going with this.
All right. You shall see.
I'm super excited to find out.
So I guess do I pick? Yeah, I pick the category and then we just start over, right? Well, then there's like one more category left. So I'm gonna do pool, or no, I'm gonna do table service. Do table service. So for my table service, I picked Skipper Canteen.
Okay. I am gonna throw a real curveball here and go outside of Walt Disney World, if that's okay, but still in the Disney realm, and say the Blue Bayou at Disneyland.
Oh, nice.
Interesting.
All right. This is probably going to confuse y'all even more, but I'm picking the Hoop-Dee-Doo musical review.
Is your theme like music?
Yes, it is.
I knew it.
My god!
As soon as you said Little Mermaid, I was like, what do all three of those have in common?
Just one big musical.
Yep. So I guess that brings us to pools, right?
Yep.
All right. So I'm picking the Art of Animation underwater music pool.
Nice.
Nice. I like that one.
So pull it all together.
All right. My turn?
Yeah.
Well, in case you guys haven't figured out my theme yet, I'm going with Doubloon Lagoon at Port Orleans French Quarter.
Very specific.
That was very specific. So for mine, I'm gonna go with. I had two of them because I was afraid someone would pick mine, and I don't know how to pronounce the actual name of this pool, but I'm gonna go with the pool at Caribbean Beach.
That's a good one. I had that on one of my other lists that I was putting together.
My other option was the one from Coronado Springs.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I guess we're down to theming, which we kind of already said. What was your theme, Beth?
Mine is Mardi Gras / Princess and the Frog / New Orleans in general.
Nice. And yours was, did you have a name for your theme, Brian?
Of course, it's Disney's Magical Musical Cruise.
Oh my god, that's so cute!
Mine was Disney's Adventure on the High Seas.
Ooh.
Oh my god, I didn't know you were supposed to come up with an actual name.
Just give it a name real quick, Beth. Be creative.
This was like...
It's Tiana's Riverboat Adventure.
I like it.
That, actually,
nice. Get that. We should all work for Disney.
Right?
I mean, I don't think I should. I'm putting a stunt show on a cruise.
Nah. That's fine.
All right, so who do we think had the best cruise among the three of us?
Well, I'm gonna say that Beth for sure had the most coherent theming.
Yeah, I 100%.
But I think you had the most exciting one.
I liked yours too. Yours was very unexpected.
Yeah.
So
it's a kind of like you said, unexpected, unique theming.
Well, it's always one thing that like I think back to is just how much I love Disney music, and I kept coming up with these ideas for stuff, and I would have like 2 of the categories and be like, oh, that's 2 cool things that go together. But I couldn't figure out a way to pull in like any like the pool or quick service in a lot of them. So I was like, Disney music's just like such a broad category that you could go a lot of ways with. So
that's like that was my problem, because at first the first one I was doing was so I had the problem with that, and my first instinct was to do Star Tours and then Cosmic Rays as like the restaurant, but then I couldn't find anything else to tie it in.
yeah.
And I was thinking like some kind of space theme, and then I was like, well, there's not really anything else I could tie in there. And then my second instinct, or my second problem, was that I ended up like almost shoehorning whole lands into cruise ships. So like when I started this one, I was like, oh, I'll do pirates, and I'll do this, and I'll do that, and I'm like, I just put Adventureland on there.
See, I did the same thing with my first one too. See, but the other one that I was thinking of was I was like a heroes versus villains one, and I always thought it'd be cool, kind of like the trams for Magic Kingdom, that like you could do half the cruise ship with the rooms like themed after heroes and half after villains. And
That's
I was
cool.
like, well,
That's
I
really
thought
cool.
for entertainment, like we could do Phantasmic, and for the attraction, you could put Buzz Lightyear's Space Ranger spin on it. But then after that, I was like, I have no idea what I could do for a pool or either dining option for heroes versus villains.
You could have done Club Villain for the dining.
Oh, that would have been a good one. I didn't think of that.
That's one of those like off picks that you really wouldn't think of.
R.I.P. Club Villain. We barely knew ye. So, did you guys come up with a, like, I know you were kind of going over ideas that you had. Did you have a backup plan in case someone took one of your main things?
Oh no, I was
You were just
really
banking?
I was hoping that you guys had such diverse ideas that I was going to be like on some other track.
Oh, see, I had one that was like very like Adventureland heavy, and as soon as you said pirates, I was like, nope, back out. I'm going to one of the other ones.
That's kind of what I was hoping for. I was like, I know if I take pirates, that's going to be the one that everyone's going to go after out of all of these things, because like I didn't think you guys would go for Skipper Canteen. I knew no one was going for Indiana Jones.
Well, see, actually, now that I say that, when I'm looking at my adventure one, I think the only you took the pool from Coronado Springs, right?
I took the pool from Caribbean Beach.
Oh,
Coronado
okay.
Springs was my backup.
Wow, so I actually had like kind of an adventure themed one that was, I think it used all different things in yours.
Really? What was it? I'm curious.
I did 3 Caballeros for the attraction. I used the Coronado Springs pool. I did Satuli Canteen for the quick service, Ohana for table service, and then the Spirit of Aloha show for entertainment.
Yeah, you would have had me beat on that one.
I had a backup plan, but I stuck with my original one because obviously I love Tiana, but I thought for sure someone else was going to go for this. But I was thinking like a Moana, like Polynesian themed cruise.
That would be awesome.
That would be
Yeah,
really
so
cool.
I was just like, you know, I had the Polynesian pool as my pool and Aloha Isle as my quick service. And I was going to say Skipper Canteen as my table service, but you said Ohana, and now that makes more sense. And then I was going to try and pull Trader Sam's as my entertainment. I don't know if that counts.
I would have let that count. I think.
It's always a way to shoehorn Trader Sam's in there.
Right.
Trader Sam's is like the wild card pick. Which we didn't do on this one. I mean, I don't think we really needed it. There's not much room on these boats.
You know, I was gonna say in the group message, like, we should throw like a bar in the draft too, but then I was like, oh, we're just all gonna try to get or Trader Sam's first thing. So
yeah, that's true. I mean, I don't think I could have gone for any other bar.
it definitely would have been the perfect one for you.
Yeah, that would have been the only one that really would have fit in my theme. I mean, Beth's got at least 2 options because you could have done River Roost or the other one. At,
Scat Cat Club or whatever.
You would have been fine. I don't know what Brian would have.
I could have done jelly rolls.
Oh, that's true.
Ah.
Yeah. I've never actually been there. That's one that I
don't think I have either, but
I haven't either. It's on my list though.
All right,
I've heard good things.
I feel less bad knowing I'm not alone. Like, that's one I keep meaning to do, but haven't ever just had the time. I feel like the boardwalk is a place that I very easily overlook.
See, I actually have gone to the boardwalk just to hang out quite a bit. I just never go when Jelly Rolls is like open or like poppin', I guess. And also would want to just like already be staying on property so that I don't have to worry about driving.
That's true, because you don't stay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially now that my best friend decided to move to Winter Garden, which is like half an hour from the parks.
Oh no, it looks like you gotta find a new best friend.
I know, right?
So we have some listener feedback that I want to go over because we actually got a lot of stuff this week, and I know we've got like 20 minutes left, so we can take some time to go over some stuff and read some of these messages that we got. First one that we got was from one of our long-term listeners, Maria, who we love hearing from. She said that she just got back from her honeymoon in Disneyland Paris, and it was very different from what she was expecting. She loved it. Her wife hated it. And it's very much a Michael Eisner park because it's been largely ignored and underfunded, and a lot of the rides are straight out of the 90s. They still have Scary Tales, A Walk Through Nautilus, and the Studio Tram. She also says it's a nostalgic Disney dream. She gave us some overview on some stuff. There's some stuff I want to touch on real quick and kind of breeze through because she wrote a very good trip report for us, and I'm very grateful for that. But she said that the Ratatouille ride was awesome, and she's curious to see how they're going to do it without the restaurant at the end, which is something I never really thought about, but I can see how that ties in. Yeah, I mean, that's one that I'm really excited for because we've talked about the trackless systems a lot on here. But yeah, their Pirates is 10 minutes longer, has more drops, better effects, and a restaurant at the end. So that's another cool thing that we don't really have.
I haven't really looked into the one at Paris. Is it more like Disneyland's, I'm assuming, if it's that much longer?
I mean, I haven't looked into the one in Paris either, but it sounds like it because the Blue Bayou, the restaurant that I picked, is like, it's at the beginning of Pirates. It's like kind of like the Grand Fiesta tour, but way better. But yeah, it sounds like more like Disneyland's version to me, at least.
Yeah. But the big thing that I want to go over that Brian and I were kind of talking about that's very crazy.
These prices.
These prices are insane. She says they stayed on property for $75 a night, and a 2-day park hopper for 2 parks is $139 a piece.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That's like half of Disney World for both of those things.
Right. She also said that I'm probably gonna edit this out. Maybe, who knows? I don't even know what I'm gonna do with this episode. But she said if you ever want to do an episode on Disneyland Paris for Walt Disney World regulars, to let her know. That's something I'd be interested in because I'm sure I would have a lot of questions about that. But yeah, I mean, that's crazy. That's like, it makes Disneyland Paris feel like it's actually something that I could potentially afford.
Yeah, I mean, that's a huge. I mean, it is. That's a huge price difference. That's crazy to think that like it's that far off.
Yeah, it's so bizarre, and it's like, to me, the overseas parks always feel like they're not within reach because they're just, travel and everything's probably really expensive. But like, if these park tickets are like that, it might actually end up being not that bad.
I mean, obviously, if you were already going to Europe or something for something else, this would be, something that probably wouldn't be that bad to work in there. But yeah, the initial cost of just getting over there.
Yeah. She also said that they did the Christmas entertainment options because they were, get this, free. It snowed on Main Street. There's a Christmas parade. There's a party, and you could use it. Or there wasn't a party, but you could use your extra magic hours in the park that you picked for that morning, which that's really cool too. So the way that I'm taking that is that like you get an extra magic hour and you get to go to whichever one. So that's kind of interesting. They stayed at the Santa Fe, which was hilariously American themed. She said, if you pick some random words that you heard about America, an eagle, a Native American, a UFO, a volcano, highways, check this. This hotel's America themed. I could not read that part because that's fantastic. She also said
that's funny.
that's the perfect way to describe a non-American's view of America. But she also said that they went to the Harry Potter studios in England and it was amazing. But apparently, Universal's Diagon Alley and Gringotts are actually better than the real set.
That's interesting.
That's really interesting to me.
Though I guess you have to think Universal Studios, it's set up for you to see everything. You know, with the actual movie studios, obviously it's just going to be what the camera's focusing on. So maybe that's why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She also sent some photos to the email too, if you guys want to check them out. But Maria, if I don't edit this out, our people will be in touch with your people. And by our people, I mean either Beth or myself. So we also got another email from, I believe this was from our listener, Sarah, who we've also gotten a couple emails from in the past. She said that she just finished listening to the Splash Mountain episode and really enjoyed it. They didn't know where the name came from, which I love that story. I know Brian and I talked about that a little bit, so that's always a fun one to say. She said that she thought that it was just being literal since it's a mountain water ride, and they had to text her mom immediately to tell her that since Splash is one of her favorite movies, which that's really funny. Another thing that they corrected us on was that not all of the animatronics from America Sings made it into Splash Mountain. A few of them were stripped down and became droids for Star Tours, which I knew that. I just totally did not say that on the show, and I messed that one up big time.
That's pretty interesting. I didn't know that, so
yeah,
it's a cool little fun fact.
I think they're the ones in the beginning of the ride, and it may have become the one from the original iteration where I think that may be a separate animatronic, though. But that's like so creepy that they just took the skin off of the animatronics and put them on Star Tours. She also wanted to share a story that she rode the Splash Mountain. Or her favorite time to ride Splash Mountain is when the weather's cold because there's no line. In 2011, they went in early December during the Christmas party, and her and her brother rode it 3 times in a row with no wait. She wore a poncho to keep dry in the cold weather, and after the 3rd time, the ride operator asked them if they wanted to go instead of getting out and walking all the way around, they could just ride it and go. And she said no because her mom was waiting and regrets it to this day. Said, love the podcast. Hope you guys have a great holiday. You too. That was a very nice email. I like when people send us these like little blurbs and trip report things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. I don't think I've ever been on an attraction where it was so low amount of people trying to get on it that they just would let me stay on.
I feel like the holiday parties are the perfect time for that. Like,
I know.
That's the only time you're ever going to get wait times that low.
Mm-hmm.
I also think that a lot of attractions have the downside of like unloading in a separate part of the ride that the loading thing is, where Splash Mountain doesn't really have that problem.
That's a good point. Yeah, I didn't think about that.
We also got a message from a listener, Matt, and he said, I have to say, I love the podcast. I'm a big Disney fan, and I wanted a new way to get my Disney fix on the go. Station 71 is perfect for my drives to campus and walking around class. The only thing I'm sad about is that I've almost completely caught up, so I have to start waiting for new episodes. That's so weird that we've hit a point where people are listening to our backlog. That's very bizarre for me.
They're binge listening.
Oh, that's so weird.
Love it.
And he said my favorite, his favorite episode is the Haunted Mansion episode. As a big Disney fan, the history of the parks and the company have always been fascinating. Keep up the good work, and I'm looking forward to the next episode.
Aw, thanks.
I love history episodes too.
That's
like a fun one that we do every now and then.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite episodes. just because I learned a lot.
Yeah, if it weren't for that episode, I don't think I would have picked up that Haunted Mansion book that Brian recommended. And
I only said it like 20 times, man.
yeah, I mean, when you said it before, I was like, okay, yeah, I need a new Disney book. Maybe I'll buy that one. And then you said it like 20 times on that episode, and that was like your reference for everything. I was like, you know what? Maybe I really should buy this one.
I love it. It's so good, and it's so hard to describe to people, like the amount of imagery in it. Like I can't obviously convey over a podcast, but it's great.
Yeah, that's the best part of it, is all the design work and everything in it. And I think, I know I don't have any of the other ones, but they've been on my Amazon wish list for the longest time now, and I'm really just like dying to purchase them, just because I hope that like I can get one of those books and like just sit there and look at all the concept art and everything. I don't have to read them. I just need to look at the concept art.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm just saying, send your Amazon wish list to your family and friends for Christmas.
That's what I did this year, and that's why I'm not allowed to buy anything off of it. And then the last one that we got was a iTunes review. It was 5 stars. I think their username is @TARDIS or @ArtTARDIS. And it says, I look forward to your show every time a new episode comes out. It feels like a little piece of Disney whenever I'm away from it. I love the varied topics and discussion, and often find myself needing. I love the varied topics and discussion, often find myself needing with my fellow Disney nerds. I absolutely love your in-depth discussions and history, and hope you do one in the future. I had to type this while reading the review, so I butchered the spelling on a lot of these things. I absolutely love your in-depth discussion and history, and hope you do one on Future World and its history, especially changes are coming to it soon.
That's a good one.
One that I never thought of.
Yeah, and I mean, man, that would definitely fill an episode. As much stuff got changed in Future World from opening day until now.
We'd probably do 2 parts on that one.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah.
Have to split that Future World east and west. But that is a cool one. I'll add that to our list of topics. And as always, we go through the email bag and our iTunes reviews and anything that you send us on social media. We always try to go through them. And if you have a topic you want us to talk about, let us know, because this is the stuff that we try to talk about first. We try to do the stuff that we know that you guys want to hear, so that we're getting the episodes that you guys want out of the way.
Yeah, so if it's bad, it's y'all's fault.
Well, I mean, I guess that's one way to look at it. But the other way I was looking at it is, that way we won't run out of episodes and do things like this every week. Yeah. I feel like I had something else to say here, but that's it.
Well, I got a fun story that you can either completely cut or make a little bonus part.
We got like 10 minutes. Go ahead.
This is a story, a word to the wise for all my fellow bar hoppers out there at Disney. Before the Christmas party, Laz and I, my boyfriend, I don't know if I've ever said his name on this podcast, so
I think you have.
Okay. Well, my boyfriend and I were going to the Christmas party, and we left a little bit early because I wanted to stop by the Grand Floridian and see the gingerbread house, because I'd never seen it before. And while we were there, I was like, they don't serve alcohol at the party unless you're like doing, table service. So we should like grab a couple of drinks here, do a little pregame before we go. So we went to, I guess, Misner's Lounge is what it's called, which I had never been there before either, and ordered just like, I don't know, a screwdriver and a shot of vodka for each of us. And I kid you not, the quote-unquote shot of vodka was like that meme of the lady, 2 shots of vodka. It was in a wine glass.
What?
It was literally like a half full wine glass of vodka was her idea of a shot, which I wasn't like, it was absolutely disgusting, don't get me wrong, but I wasn't super mad about it because it was like a normal Disney price for a shot, but it was at least 3 shots. So,
I feel like this was at a resort, right?
yeah, Grand Flow.
Okay. I feel like the resort bars always pour a little bit heavy-handed. Like,
Yeah, I could see that.
not even just like at Disney, because I'm not gonna tell this full story because my girlfriend's gonna kill me if I do. But we went to Universal with my parents one time, and we all ordered drinks while we were playing. We were bowling one night, and her drink was literally just like a straight glass of vodka. It was supposed to have some kind of fruit juice mixed in, and I swear to you, it was only mixed in for color.
Ugh. See, honestly, I would much rather have that than the stuff they try to pull at the parks, especially at the kiosks during the festivals, where it's like,
all fruit juice and a splash of something.
exactly, like a splash of vodka. And I'm like, I did not just pay $8 for a splash of vodka. If I wanted an orange juice, I would have ordered an orange juice. The only one, I will say, they do pour it heavy at Spice Road Table, which is why I always make a stop there. But anyway, word to the wise, if you go, I don't know if it's like that at every resort bar, but specifically that one, or if it's specific to that bartender, expect a wine glass of vodka. It's a good value, but it was disgusting.
That is a lot of alcohol to consume.
Yeah, we were like, oh my god, not only is this a ton of vodka, this is so bougie. I'd never taken a shot out of a wine glass before.
Oh, well, I mean, I guess that's a good way to wrap the episode up this week. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about, or any other stories you want to share?
I'm good. I don't have anything that tops that.
I don't think I've got anything that tops that either. So I will stop recording and sign out for later.
Nice.
Sweet. It was funny when you were reading the iTunes review and everything. I was thinking back about that one like crappy review we got when we first started.
I was on Reddit, like, because I'm subscribed to like 3 podcasting subreddits, and the one was like, we finally made it, and it was a picture of a 1-star review, and I was like, I mean, we got 3, so that's not so bad.
You're good or you've at least made a mark when people take time out of their day to leave you negative reviews on iTunes.
There was like one comment on there that was like, I think we made it when someone commented and was like, not as good as they used to be. I was like, all right, we haven't gotten that one yet, so that's good.
Speaking of iTunes reviews, did you guys like listen to Jerry's podcast at all?
No.
Because they have some legit like nasty iTunes reviews. I mean, it's not a family friendly podcast, so I guess it's kind of to be expected that people get butthurt about not being pixie dusters, but like I would have had my spirit a little bit crushed by some of his reviews. But he doesn't seem like the kind of person that cares, though.
So here's a fun fact. I subscribed to his podcast, and I meant to listen to it, but I've been like trying to catch up on some other stuff. And when I subscribed to it, they had a 4-star rating, and I loaded it up. I searched for them on iTunes, and it came up, and it was still stuck on that 4-star rating. And then after it refreshed, it dropped down to 3.5.
Oh no.
Man! I watched it change in real time. They also have about half as many 1-star reviews as they do 5-star reviews. I'm gonna.
Very divisive podcast.
I'm sending a screenshot of this because it looks really funny.
Yeah, it's definitely you gotta have that kind of sense of humor to appreciate it, I think.
Yeah. Wow. You weren't kidding. There's like no middle road. There's no 3 or 4 stars.
You love it or you hate it.
There's a couple too.
There's like 1 2-star rating.
They're like, I'll throw him a bone.
iTunes is also having an issue where it's not counting any reviews that don't have like comments attached to them. So like if you go to ours, it says we have 28 reviews, and then if you like go to it on iTunes, like in the app, it says we only have 14. I don't know if that's like a thing that they're trying to do, but so now it's at 28. So
the most neutral review I've found says, "Not my thing. I can see how some would like this, but it's not for me." But then another one says the title is "A Loudmouth Moron." Jerry Skids, who's the co-host of Mouse Rants, is nothing more than a foul-mouthed, overbearing, obnoxious, narcissistic, berating, egotistical man. Airtime really should not be wasted on him. 0 stars, in my opinion.
Jeez.
I'm like, I don't know if I would have kept podcasting if I got a review like that.
Yeah, I'd have to call out of work the next day too, I think.
It's like, they got a loss in the family, man.
it was like, so I've not like made it a point, but like I don't, go out of my way to tell people about the fact that I podcast, because then it's like you have to have that conversation with them about like what you do and all this other stuff, and some people just don't get it. So like I for a while wasn't telling, but like didn't make a point to mention it to my mom's family, and she mentioned it to like everyone, and I had to explain over Thanksgiving like what we do and all this other stuff, and like a couple people knew about it. Like my one cousin knew about it because he listens pretty regularly. And I was explaining like, my one aunt was like, "Oh, do you talk to like other people or is it just you?" I was like, "Yeah, I talk to my friends." And then like every now and then we'll have a co-host on just from another show to kind of like cross promote and, all this other stuff. And she was like, "Oh, who's been on your show?" And I'm like, "Probably no one you know." So I started going through the people and I was like, "Well, this person from this podcast and this person from that podcast." When I got to his, I was like, "That one's not a family-friendly one," so I wouldn't listen to that one.
Yeah.
And my aunt was like, "How do you do a not family-friendly podcast on Disney?" I was like,
Oh, it's possible.
You would be very surprised. But yeah,
like you just you spend a couple of days at the parks with me. I'll show you how to not be family-friendly.
My one aunt was like, "What does he do? Just talk about drinking in Disney all the time?" And I was like, "Nope, that's not it." So what do we want to do next week, or do we want to take? Well, next week is Christmas technically. So do we want to take a week off?
Can we do it like this week, like this Thursday?
Yeah, if we did it Thursday, it would release on Christmas, because that would be the Tuesday, which I think is fine either way. It would just be about Christmas.
What if we did it on the Christmas party?
That's fine.
All right.
You've done it, right, Brian?
Yeah, I didn't go this year, but I went last year.
Okay, cool.
3 years ago, so I've got some knowledge, but...
Well, I did it a week ago, so it's very fresh in my mind. So that could be good. It's like the, like, not so scary episode, but Christmas party, which, spoiler alert, not so scary is far superior, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
It's I didn't dislike it by any means, but I don't know. I would rather go to Halloween.
Yeah, my thing with Very Merry is that like you have to really, and I know this is kind of a thing for Not So Scary too, but you have to know what you really want out of it. Like we did a lot of character meet and greets for Very Merry because I feel like there's not much else you can do.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. We watched the...
Oh, we did the stage shows too.
Stage show. Can we talk? No, we should save it. I am so mad about it.
Is it still the Frozen one?
Well, no, that still exists, but that's not the one I'm talking about.
Okay.
I'm talking about the Mickey's Very Merriest celebration.
Okay, yeah, I haven't seen that. So.
Oh my God, Brian, you said you went 3 years ago?
No, I went 3 years ago.
Yeah, I went last year.
So do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
Oh my God, you guys have to go on YouTube and watch it.
I'm definitely going to. When I went, it was still in the hype of Frozen, so everything was Frozen themed.
Like, there definitely still was like the Frozen, like Elsa lighting the castle show thing.
Yeah.
But the Very Merry equivalent of Mickey's Royal Friendship Fair I was just in awe of. I was angry. I was just angry about it, and I think you should just watch it and form your own opinion.
Oh boy.
I can't believe you guys haven't seen it. I know it's been the same for at least the past 2 or 3 years. Because my best friend.
Then maybe I just didn't hate it as much as you.
No, I feel like you would.
Oh shoot, maybe no. I haven't been there in 4 years. Wow. That's.
Do you want a little like teaser?
I'm gonna watch it on YouTube. I think because I need to see this now.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll watch it too. See if it's.
You guys have to tell me what you think as soon as you watch it.
That side just told me everything I needed to know, Beth.
Dude, like Laz was standing beside me, like dying at me, like having a breakdown about it as it was happening. I was like having a mental breakdown about this show, and he thought it was the most hilarious thing. I was just like, oh my god, what are you doing? What are you doing? All right, so that's your homework.
Yeah, and then I'll have to dig up some very Merry Christmas knowledge because it's been so long.
Okay, I'm very impatient, so you guys watch it, please, as soon as you can.
I will do.
I need to talk to someone about this.
What is the name of the stage show?
I think it's called Very Merriest or Most Merriest Celebration.
All right.
I don't know if it's changed over the years, but definitely watch one from last year or this year because I know it's the same.
Stage show, right?
Yeah, I found it.
Mickey's Most Merriest Celebration.
Yes. And you guys have to understand, this was the very last thing I did because I went to the 11:55 p.m. showing. And I was just like, this just put a bad taste in my mouth. I'm not coming back for another like 5 years. I'm not coming back till they change this show.
Oh my goodness.
Oh boy, I do remember this now.
Okay, so you didn't hate it?
I did not like it. I distinctly remember turning to my wife and saying
You
like
repressed it. That's what happened.
Nowhere near as good as the stage show at the Halloween party.
It's not even comparable. It's like a joke.
Yeah.
This thing is 20 minutes long.
Yeah.
Why? Like, at least the Hocus Pocus one feels like it goes by quick. I just put on, like, 5 seconds of it and had to pause it because, like, I'm not...
Oh, man. I'm kind of just jumping around. But, yeah, I heard that when they bring out Maribel, I remember that. I was like... Because I turned to my wife and I was like, none of the kids... Nobody knows who that is anymore.
Irrelevant.
Yeah.
She's on the
Did
parades.
you know... Okay, well, here, I learned a fun fact, and I'll repeat it on the show so that people can know, is that apparently the lady that voices Clarabelle Cow is the one that wrote the show. So that's why she has that segment. She was, like, self-promoting, basically.
That's hilarious.
All right, they brought out the Three Caballeros, which is kind of cool, but I hate the song.
See, I like Feliz Navidad. I thought that was the only part of the show that I didn't hate.
They're singing a lot more than just that.
They sang more than Feliz Navidad?
Yep. They're singing... Oh, they start with, like, Deck the Halls. But it's
I don't
Spanish.
know. Okay. I don't know. Maybe that wasn't in this year. Maybe I just wasn't paying attention. Maybe I was still reeling from the freaking opening scene where they're all holding giant glowing iPhones.
See, I hate when there's... Oh my god, yeah, okay, I remember that part too now. That was...
It was
okay.
Like,
this is as bad as you were making it out to be, and it's all coming back.
Bad. It's so bad. Laz was making jokes afterwards to, like, make me angry, and he's like, oh, I better Snapchat Mickey. I was like, shut up, I hate it.
So this is, like... I hate when they do this in like stage shows or stuff like this when they have like a hodgepodge of characters and there's no reason why they're out there together. So like I just happened to pause it here and we've got Mickey, Minnie, Daisy, Clarabelle, the Three Caballeros, Goofy, and then Jesse and Woody on the stage together. Along with all the singers and dancers. It's like why are they in the same universe now?
Now, if you skip to the end, it gets even more Phantasmic-like because you have Wendy, Jiminy Cricket, the White Rabbit, and these are all standing next to each other.
Oh
Let's see.
And
The
And
quality
who
of
are
the video is
who are
horrible.
these hosts with the silver dress and the silver tuxedo? They never introduce themselves. Who are you? Why do I care about you? I don't. You're not real. You're not a Disney character. Who are you?
Yeah, and it's like I remember there's like so much going on that you can't like the non-Disney character dancers don't need to be there.
Right, exactly.
The best part about this is like I'm at the very end now because I skipped around too, and so they don't even loop characters from the same movie together. Like there's a part where they're all spinning in a circle, like in little circles, and in this one circle we have Snow White and Dopey, which kind of makes sense. You have Peter Pan and Pinocchio in that same circle, and then in the circle opposite to them you have the White Rabbit, Wendy, Jiminy Cricket, and Alice.
Like
That's just
what?
not canon.
Flip cheer these
No, it's
characters
not.
around. I just like I don't understand.
See,
They
I
have
can suspend my disbelief for not canon when it's things like Dream Along with Mickey and like Mickey's Royal Friendship Fair, where they tie it together. It's about adventure or friendship or whatever. This is just like a bunch of random Christmas songs and characters that we aren't using the costumes for in other parks.
Yeah, I still am not a fan of Royal Friendship Fair. I'm sorry.
Oh, I like it.
I think it's cute, but I surprisingly miss the other one.
I like Dream Along too. I do miss Dream Along, but I think Royal Friendship Fair was a good replacement, like updated, fresh version.
I'm not a huge fan of it, but I do love the fact that they changed the costumes for the season. I think that's pretty cool.
That is cool.
Nice touch.
Really cool.
Also, I don't know if you guys noticed these reindeer that are all over Very Merry.
So creepy.
Like, who are they? Are they from something? Are they generic reindeer? They are literally always doing something. Like, they're pushing the sleigh, or they're dancing and doing this and that. Laz is like, these poor reindeer in this universe, like, nobody even knows or cares about them.
Did you guys watch? You watched the parade, right?
Yes, I actually watched both showings of it.
I really like the parade. I think the parade's really cool. Besides, I mean, there's some stupid things, but I really like the tin soldiers. That's like the best part of that entire parade, I think, and it's the dumbest thing.
Well, my best friend's boyfriend was one of them, so that's actually why I watched both showings.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, I thought the song was definitely not as catchy, but it was fine. I'm not like the biggest parade person ever unless it's got like a really super catchy song and a lot going on. I just felt like it was, I don't know. I should have gone to Very Merry before I went to Not So Scary because I feel like everything I was comparing to Not So Scary.
Probably, yeah.
But
I had the very like fortunate position of doing Very Merry first.
Yeah.
And
I kind of wish I had.
I like that we just recorded next week's episode.
Oh, no, I'll still have strong feelings about it next week.
Yeah.
I'll now that I've gotten a lot of it off my chest, I can be more I can be more calm when I talk about it. So, and also I'll save this for next week, but the Tomorrowland stage show. Did you guys watch?
Nope.
Okay, that's another thing you should watch. It's not I kind of liked it, but it's just interesting.
I try to stay out of the Tomorrowland during the parties because there's usually just a creepy dance party going on.
Oh no, there's an actual stage show during Very Merry, and it is not canon at all. And I will leave it at that.
Nice.
All right, so
Very
Merry next week.
Yeah.
Are we doing Thursday?
Yeah, we can do Thursday. Normal time on Thursday is good with me.
Cool.
All right, sounds good. I'll talk to you guys then.
All right.
See you.